Billy D here. Thrilled to have you along. Who's ready for some basketball? It's almost time. Hey, today we're continue our series looking at the teams that went deep last year. Today we're lucky to have Chad LaCross. He's head coach over there at St. Francis, the Cougar, out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the Crossroads League. Coach LaCross took his team to 27-9 last season. They went to the Final Four. They fell to eventual champion Shawnee State. We're going to talk to him about that game. We're going to talk to him about last season. And we're going to find out what's in store for the Cougars this season. So hang on. We'll be back in just one moment with Coach LaCross. Cascade Hoops Talk, Billy D here. Hey, thrilled to have Coach Chad LaCross, St. Francis Cougars. Welcome, Coach. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, we really appreciate having me on and all you do for NAI Hoops. Excited to be here.
Well, Coach, we're gonna talk quite a bit about the Cougars season, the Cougars upcoming season. But you play there in the Crossroads, so the first thing you got to do if you're going to play for anything is you got to get out of the Crossroads. So last year was a tough year for everybody, the COVID year, blah blah blah. And you get to the Crossroads tournament. You get past the first round, if I remember right. And then in the second round, you played Indiana Wesleyan. Is that the way it went?
Yeah. So the first round we beat Grace at home.
Grace, then, that's right.
The second round game we played Indiana Wesleyan down there.
So that was a little bit of an indication of what was to come, because anybody who wasn't a Cougar fan thought that would probably be the stopper for you. So talk a little bit about that game. I mean, you beat them by 27. You were up by 20 at halftime. They were ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yeah, obviously it was a great game for us, and we came in just motivated. I think we were coming on like 6 or 7 wins in a row leading up to that game. Kind of fighting for our lives, as far as for the national tournament. Like you said, every game's just such a knockout, drag-out game in the Crossroads League. So every game's so important, and we were kind of right on the edge there, especially started January. I thought we played a ton of games just with the COVID stuff and the quarantines. I know we had 2 quarantines back in November that we just pushed a bunch of games into December and wanted to give our guys an opportunity to play. They wanted to play. Obviously, college guys, they want to play as many games as they can. So we just kept scheduling games. And I remember right at Christmas, I was trying to get our administration to let us go down to Florida and play some games. And they weren't up to that, but we were able to jump on a bus and we went out and played Bellevue out in Nebraska and St. Ambrose. And like I said, I think we played, there was a number of games that we played in a short period of time. And I thought it had some effect on us in January there early on. And I think we had lost like 4 out of 5 or something like that in early January, but then kind of got our poise back and we're able to go on a little run and won a bunch of games. The tough thing is, like you said, with the Crossroads League, every night's such a grind, but that stretch in early January was tough, where we had Marion and Indiana Wesleyan, Grace on the road, I think it was, and it just game after game, big game after big game, and we just weren't coming away with wins. And no matter what you do to get the national tournament, you got to find a way to win, and we did that down the stretch, and then kind of got just playing with so much confidence to where we beat Grace in the opening round of the conference tournament and went down to Indiana Wesleyan and just played an excellent game. I think I had people calling me after the game and were saying, "Man, is that score flipped?" on the scoreboard. So we just kind of went out and took it to them and were able to do it for the entire game. We've been up times and they've come back in a strong second half and were able to beat us, but we were able to hold on for that win, and that got us into the conference tournament championship against Marion. But I think the biggest thing was we felt pretty safe that we were going to be an at-large team after that win.
Yeah, I think that's why I brought it up. I think that was the game that got you into the national tournament and eventually got you to the Final Four. You know, it seemed like just one of those games. You shot 61% from the field, over 50% from three. You shot almost better from the field than you did the free throw line. It just seemed like the night to be.
Yeah, and I think I can just remember defensively, I thought we were excellent. We executed our game plan, and the guys just played extremely tough. We were able to keep the ball out of the paint, but obviously, I thought we did a tremendous job on Kyle Mangus, the best player in the country last year, and kind of made him work for his shots. If I remember right, I don't know exactly, but I think he still had 20 plus points, but I'm pretty sure it was on 20 plus shots as well too. So anytime you make him work for his shots, put us, I felt like that put us in a great position to win the game, and especially on the road.
So then you mentioned already you lost the championship to a very good Marion team. Nothing to hang your head about. That Indiana Wesleyan game, I think, punched your ticket. Now, I want to jump ahead to the Sweet 16. You played Stillman. You struggled a little bit. You went up. I want to talk about the end of the game. You went up by 2 on a Cushenberry shot with 40 seconds to go. And then down the stretch, Stillman had every chance in the world to win that game. How nervous. I think they missed a 2, and then they missed some free throws. And you kind of hanging on by a thread there at the end, weren't you?
Yeah, there was just offensively, and we just couldn't get in the flow. They did a great job defensively, really good defensive team, and kind of took us out of our rhythm and made us work for everything. But I could just remember, because we got down like 8 or 10 points and just kind of just kept hanging in there. They could never put us away. And finally we just made some big plays down the stretch. I can't remember exactly what happened down the stretch. It's been several months now. But yeah, I know Cush made some
won, Coach.
Plays and yeah, I know. But just guys making big plays. And that's what I look back on. I do remember shooting, poorly from the three, poorly from the field, but coming away with a W. And I know they pounded us on the boards and those things. So I felt like we were very, very fortunate to win that game. But credit to our guys just to find a way to get it done. And that's kind of what we did down the stretch the whole season there.
Your road through this whole thing in the postseason couldn't have been tougher, because you get past this game against Stillman, and that was your squeaker game, your heart attack game, whatever you want to call it. And then you go, okay, we got to play Bethel for a third time.
Right.
And excellent game. I mean, Jalen Moll's 22 points and Cushenberry 21. You pulled out an 89-81 victory. You had split the regular season, close games. But what were you thinking when that game ends and you find out, oh man, it's the Pilots again?
Well, it's kind of one of those things. Do we want Indiana Wesleyan or do we want Bethel? Because, that bracket was so crazy with us, Wesleyan, and Bethel all being in the same quadrant there. So we knew we were going to get a tough game regardless. And then when Bethel, watching them in the opening round, I thought they were unbelievable. Travion Cruz is one of the best players in the country, and he proved it at that level. And, man, they were just playing so well. And then they were able to get the win against Wesleyan, and I knew it was going to be another battle, and who knows, especially they come out the first half. I think we were down 16 or 18 points in the first half, and then finally we got some things going, and I think we maybe cut it to 2 at half, and then we really started rolling in the second half. Felt like we had the game almost put away, and then here comes Bethel again making another run, and so just a wild, emotional game, but very, very, very fortunate for us to get the win and then advance to the Final Four.
I really thought that Travion Cruz was like a man on a mission the last, 10, 12 games. I didn't think they were going to get beat. He just went to another level. So that was another huge win for you. And then that sets you up for Shawnee State in the Final Four. So when you got to the Final Four last year, that made how many Final Fours for St. Francis?
So we had played in 5 Final Fours. So we were in the Final Four in 2010 when we won the national championship, 2011 we were runner-up, 2016, 18, and then 21. So 5 since 2010.
So you were right back to the Final Four. You played Shawnee State. They were eventually the champion. And you played them tough. I think with 4.5, it was tied. And then that EJ
Onu, yeah.
Yeah. He I went through the box this morning, Coach. In that 3-minute stretch after that you tied it up, he blocked 3 shots, scored 3 points, got 3 rebounds, and had a steal. And the next thing you know, you're down 7, 40 seconds to go. He was amazing talent, wasn't he?
Oh, he was. I mean, for a guy with that size, his wingspan, but he could make a play on one side of the lane, and I felt like he could gather himself and make another play in the same possession on the other side of the lane. So agile and was able to move so well, but it just wasn't a one-man show with them. I mean, Jones hit some tough shots.
Yeah.
I can remember, I think we were maybe with about 8 minutes to go, we had gone up 8, and I thought we were really going especially in transition. And I can remember we had an opportunity where we missed a easy bucket in transition, kind of a lay-in to go up double figures. And then, like you said, next thing you know, they hit a couple fadeaway threes, and then the momentum starts to change, and it's back and forth. And I think they even got up 5, and Dan McKeeman may have hit a couple threes to tie the game back up, and was back and forth. And then they just made a couple more plays down the stretch there with about 3 minutes to go than we did. And like you said, EJ had a huge effect on that. I think he had 9 or 10 blocks in our game, but man, you talk about some size and some guys that you just don't see on a daily basis, and game in, game out, especially in the Crossroads League. You don't see too many guys like that, but he definitely had an impact on the game, no question.
Yeah, definitely a player, and he's with Dallas now. We'll see how he does.
Yeah.
So, Coach, you're a great year, another great year for the Cougars. Surprise, surprise. But now you're loading back up, but you got a couple holes to fill. A guy that I just absolutely love to watch play, Antoine Cushenberry, 18 points, 4.5 rebounds. He had 71 threes last year, but 178 assists. This guy, just when the game was on the line, he was there. I love to watch that guy play.
Yeah, Cush always brings us to another level, and it's just the same thing in workouts. The kid, he just works so hard in the off season, and he's been training. He's just ready to get going, chomping at the bits, and like I said, he works out all the time, and he's 100% basketball all the time. So with him, it was special for him to be named an All-American. I thought he was one of the best players of the national tournament and really guided us and kind of carried us to the Final Four. And, obviously we're excited to have him back along with Jalen Mole in our backcourt. And those guys are really, I feel like, 2 of the quicker guards in the country, and we're fortunate enough to have them at St. Francis.
David Edja coming back as a starter as well out of Fort Wayne. You got quite the Fort Wayne connection there. Couple kids out of Carroll, couple kids out of Blackhawk Christian. You recruit pretty well locally there, don't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of great basketball, and I've been at St. Francis now. This is the start of my 19th year, 12th as a head coach, and there for a while it was kind of tough to get some kids to stay home. And then, you win a national championship, and you're competing for national championships in a year in and year out basis. And I think it's really helped us keep some of these kids home, and especially not only our program, but the quality of basketball they're getting in our league is as good as anywhere in the country, I feel like, and they can stay right home. So yeah, we've been fortunate. I got a great coaching staff. With Luke Cummings has been with me ever since I've gotten the head coaching job here at St. Francis. He does a tremendous job. Jeremy Henney, Todd Martin, those guys are all Fort Wayne guys. So, and I'm just fortunate enough to have them on my staff. They do a great job recruiting and trying to keep these guys home and giving them a great opportunity to play at a high level in our league, but also compete for championships.
This Fort Wayne trio that you have, David Edja, Jalen Mole, and Dan McKeeman. Like Edja had 9 rebounds a game last year, 15 points. I mean, talk about that Fort Wayne trio there.
Yeah, so it's funny, Dan McKeeman, he went over to Cedarville University, Division II. We were able to get him after 1 year. He shoots it at such a high level. really spreads the floor, and it was nice to have him to come back, kind of rejoin with David Edge and teammates. David's just a different athlete than we have, and that we've had in a long time at St. Francis, where he can make so much happen. And I'm not even sure David knows how good he can be, and so gifted, so talented, and so athletic, where he can change the game without ever even scoring the ball as well too. He can do so much defensively and alter shots and rebound the ball. To have him, David, Jalen, and Cush back as four guys, I think our top four scorers from a season ago, to have those guys back, we're really excited about the year coming up. To have those guys playing at high school and so familiar with one another, I think they do a great job of holding each other accountable and pushing each other in, off season and preseason workouts. And then once we get into practice, it's fun. It's fun to watch these guys compete and play at the level they do.
Yeah, you mentioned McKeeman, 104 threes last year, 45%. And then something, I know you know this, but fans around the country probably don't realize, Jalen Mull, 164 assists last season, a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Hang on to that guy.
Yeah, Jalen, he's so crafty and so quick, and he gets downhill as good as anybody in the country. Like I said, I feel like I truly believe him and Cush are two of the quickest guards in the country. And we always talk about forcing teams to play on their heels and getting the defense to play on their heels. And those guys really they play with an attack mindset but also they share the ball extremely well. So they're not only creating for themselves, they're creating for their teammates and do a great job at that.
We didn't talk about this before, but you also have a young guy, Brayton Bailey. He's out of Bedford, North Lawrence. Limited time, but he shot 56% from three. That's all you need, coaches. One more guy who can bang the three.
Hey, we'll take any of them we can get. But the great thing about Brayton was a freshman. He played outstanding down the stretch, and he was a big part of our success, especially in the national tournament. Such a great defender, a hard-nosed kid, rebounds it, but never takes a bad shot. And that's why you see his percentage from three at 56% is he only takes great shots. It's not like he doesn't have the mentality where he's going to go on the floor and say, I got to score to stay on the floor. Like his mentality is, I'm going to be the toughest kid on the floor. I'm going to defend the best player. I'm going to rebound every basketball I can. And he does a great job with that. And he was, like I said, he was a big part of our success. And obviously some of our seniors that aren't with us now, with Lance Dollison, and Lance played a big part, but Brayton really came in and gave us another really great defender on the floor with Jalen and Cush.
Now there's a transfer I know you're excited about, Max Newman. Boy, he should really bolster you up in the middle. I've seen him play. He's very good.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm excited to have Max, and I think he's going to have a great career for us and really be a big part of things this year. Another guy that's crafty, that can shoot it a little bit from the perimeter, but just knows how to play. And just kind of watching him and what he does, what he's done here in the summer and kind of preseason, reminds us a little bit of, like Bryce Lenup, who we've had. He gives us somebody that can score at the back to the basket. But I compare him to Bryce, and the fact that Bryce is just Bryce was so good a player, but just really crafty, almost awkward. Some things that he does, like, you just don't coach. He just does it naturally. And I feel like that's where Max kind of brings some things to us, will help us at that 5 spot, but also can play on the perimeter a little bit too.
Well, Max is bigger than Lenup, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Max was taller, but and I would say Bryce was more of a true back to the basket type post player, but and maybe it's not a fair comparison, but the way they score, how crafty they are, that's kind of why I'm comparing those two. But I think Max will have a big impact for us this year, for sure.
Now, I know it's early. I know nobody's played in a game, but you got a couple of freshmen as well. Zane Burke, he's out of Blackhawk Christian, and then Nayland Thompson out of Bishop Lure.
Lures, yep.
Lures.
Yeah, those two, Tyson Elwer out of Ohio as well too. So those three freshmen we're really, really excited about. Zane and Nayland and Tyson have all had a great preseason and kind of getting ready to start up in practice and seeing how they do in practice. But they compete from day one, and we couldn't be more excited about that group coming in as our incoming class with, both Zane and Nayland being, about 6'3" guards, kind of gives us some more height in the guard positions than we've had in the past. But they can do a little bit of everything. So we're gonna rely on some of those younger guys to play and help us win games. So hopefully they'll be ready to go.
Coach, you have a ton of experience coming back. You've got some good transfers, some young guys. Should be an exciting year for the Cougars there in Fort Wayne. You got to be excited, huh?
Yeah, no question. Like I said, I think the biggest thing is just our experience coming back and what they were able to go through last year and the ups and downs of the season. I mean, you've watched enough basketball to where how long our season is, and it's just a roller coaster at times. And we were fortunate enough to kind of fight through that and make a nice run in the national tournament and come pretty close to compete for a championship. And with that returning, I think our guys are going to be more confident than ever, but also they know how good our league is and how good every team in our league, and you just can't have a night off. And so they understand that with, like I said, our experience and the guys that we have, Cush and Jalen and Dan and David, those guys have been through it. So they've been great in preseason conditioning here, just trying to push our guys and trying to get us prepared for the upcoming season we have.
And fans, I would be remiss if I spoke to Chad LaCross and did not talk to him about his own basketball career. You had a pretty good career yourself. East Noble High School, played on the Indiana All-Star team, scored almost 500 points at East Noble your senior year. You went on to play NAI ball at Tri-State, which is now Trine University. You hold a school scoring record at Trine or Tri-State, over 2,600 points. You were the WAC Conference Player of the Year. You were NAI, and you led the NAI in scoring in the 2001 season. And for good measure, you also had a double-double that year. Talk about your time playing NAI ball. Well, first, what was it like to play ball at East Noble?
Well, it was great. I had our head coach, who I speak to quite a bit now, still today, Marty Johnson, was like a father to me and lived right down the road from me and kind of molded me into the man I am today and even the coach I am today. So I owe a lot to him, and he was a tough coach. He demanded a lot out of us, and kind of the old school type guy. If you didn't do things the right way, he wasn't going to let it slide. And very, very fortunate to play for a coach like Marty Johnson. And we won a lot of games. We were 21-4 my junior year and 25-2 my senior year. And we're able to play in my senior year of high school basketball was the last year in Indiana for single class basketball. So we were able to go to the semi-state in Fort Wayne at the Coliseum here and play in the semi-state. And actually our season ended against Kokomo, who Luke Cummings, my associate head coach, he was on that Kokomo team. So, but they were a really good team. But yeah, we beat some great high school teams. Luke Record and Charlie Wills and guys like that who went on to play in the Big Ten. I played with them in the Indiana All-Stars, and then went to college and kind of just broke out. I was able to score the ball quite a bit. I was an All-American my sophomore, junior, and senior years, but played in a system where I was fortunate enough to get the ball quite a bit and scored it inside. But I also had the freedom to shoot some threes and was able to score the ball. Like I said, score the ball. And again, we won a lot of games. But back then, when I played in the NAIA, there was one at-large team, and I know my sophomore year, I think we won 27 or 28 games, beat a Division I team in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, pretty good at their place. And we always ran into either Cornerstone or Siena Heights. And I think that year, Cornerstone beat us in the conference tournament. and they went on to win the national championship that year as in my sophomore. So I think we had the most wins on any level of basketball to not make a national tournament. So that's kind of a tough pill to swallow, especially, getting into coaching and getting in coaching at St. Francis and being in the NAIA and now being a Raider and being a part of the national selection committee, seeing those things, how it's progressed throughout the years and how many at-larges and those things. I was like, man, I kind of wish it was like that back when I played to experience the national tournament as a player, but never did, but had a great career and loved the NAIA and been a part of it for a long, long time.
Coach, when did you played in great high school career, great college career. At what point in your life did you think, I want to coach? And did somebody tell you to seek help when you said that out loud?
Well, Marty John, my head coach at high school, yeah, he says, don't find something different to do, So, I just knew I wanted to be around the game. I played a little bit after college. I played in the United States Basketball League. I played a season in Mexico, and then I was battling some injuries and had different opportunities, but also knew Coach Jeff Reckaway at the University of St. Francis here in Fort Wayne. And he recruited me out of high school, even though I did not choose St. Francis. I was fortunate enough. He hired me as an assistant coach. So he still gives me a hard time about that today. But, I was extremely fortunate to get on at St. Francis and just kind of work my way up. I've had numerous jobs at the university where I started in admissions, worked as a head men's golf coach, started the women's golf program, and then transitioned to assistant basketball coach and associate head coach. And then when we won the national championship and Jeff took the Northwood job up in Midland, Michigan, again, I was fortunate enough to be there at St. Francis and get hired on, and couldn't have asked for a better transition. We just won the national championship and we returned our entire team. And so not too many guys get that opportunity and won a lot of games and end up getting beat in the national championship game that my first year as a head coach. But Jeff left me in a great position. I'm forever grateful for him and the experiences I went through as an assistant under him. And like I said, now I have a great staff of my own that really gets after it, works hard, and that's why we're so successful.
Coach, I've told you before, I have huge respect for the program at St. Francis. I think it's a class program. Talk to me about the program and what it's meant to you to coach there. It's such a deep basketball history there.
Yeah, it is. And when I first came to St. Francis, Jeff had taken over the program. I think he had been there maybe 6 or 7 years, and he was at Danville Junior College, and they hadn't had a lot of success until Jeff got there, and he recruited a really good class in 2000. I think it was 99, 2000. They were number one in the country, and they had a Division I transfer in Steve Smith and a bunch of guys that I played high school basketball with here in Fort Wayne that never even really probably considered St. Francis in the past until Jeff got there and really kind of put the program on the map and was starting to keep those kids home and very fortunate to be an assistant, to learn under Jeff. And once he left, it's meant everything for me to be the coach here. I thought when you get hired on somewhere, I think every assistant coach wants the opportunity to become a head coach. I just didn't know if I had ever get the opportunity to be the head coach at the University of St. Francis. And when we won, I still didn't think Jeff was going to leave. I know his heart was at St. Francis. Some things happened to where it made sense for him to take that job in Midland up at Northwood University, and said I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. But just great young men that I've been able to coach throughout my years, whether it's been as an assistant and now as a head coach. But they're the real reason why we're so successful and competing year in and year out, is just the quality of young men, not only on the floor, but off the floor, that we're recruiting to St. Francis and kind of guiding this program.
And it shows on the court, the type of individual you recruit there. Well, Coach, you've been there a few years now. I think the jury might be out. They might keep you now. This last Final Four kind of iced it, so you might be good for a couple years.
No, we look forward to big things. We're as excited as ever with our class. Can't be excited enough about the returners that we have, and the direction of our program continues to be in line with where we want to be and those things. And we have tremendous administration with our athletic director, gives us all the support. Mike McCaffrey's our AD, and I always say it, he's done a great job of letting us do our job. Like anytime I've ever gone to him and said, hey, we need this to compete at this level, there's never been a no answer. He's always responded with, let's see what we can do to get it done. So I feel very fortunate with having an athletic director with that type of leadership that wants us to be successful as well too. So we have a new president, Father Zimmer. He was out at the national tournament with us and up in our hotel room, and we're breaking down video, and just to see him excited about the program and wanting us to be successful and to getting to know our players. And it's just different when you're on the road. And heck, we were on the road for 2 weeks during that stretch, the opening round in Wichita and then in Kansas City. It was a long time, but it was kind of neat to see our president and our athletic director interacting with our players in that manner. And you could just, we had our president in the locker room after big wins in the national tournament, stuff like that. So just the excitement around basketball, I feel like we're very, very well supported. They want to win. And that's always important. I couldn't ask for anything else as a coach.
Well, Coach LaCross, I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been a pleasure having you on. I look forward to St. Francis basketball. Heck, I look forward to basketball.
Yeah, getting some people in the stands, and that's what, talking to some fans here now. We had limited seating and just the excitement, watching college football now, and you get 100,000 people at these different games on Saturdays, and just the excitement around athletics in general. I can't wait either. And we're excited to get our fans back, and not only at our place, but around the league. Our league is so good and the competition's so great, but it's also the fan bases that makes it special. So it'll be fun to get back in an environment like that, night in and night out in the Crossroads League.
Well, Coach, again, thank you for the time. I'm hoping if you're willing that we can get you back on during the season, talk some Crossroads hoops. That'd be great if we could do that.
Absolutely. Anytime, especially if we're winning a few games.
Especially if you're winning, right?
That's
Coach, I don't make too many calls to teams that just lost.
But we appreciate all you do for NAI Hoops, and this is great. So thanks for having me on today.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yep. We'll see you.